everyone. Excuse me, this is Jared Rand. Welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Saturday, June 7, 2025, after 3:15 p.m. Eastern. Now make sure you're in a comfortable position. You have no outside distractions. You are relaxed into your body, still as a statue and focused on your breath, rising and falling. Everything that we strive for, want, desire in this life we seek it outside of ourselves. And it's the irony to it is that because we don't know how to do certain things, when you discover that you are the pure consciousness, the God, within the body, or you could say the body within the God, but we haven't really been taught or shown how we open that up and access it as the God. We realize that we are not the body, but also we fear not having the body. Okay, we don't. You could say, I know I'm the God in the body. And then you have a fear of not having the body, which means that you really don't know that you are the God in the body. Because if you did embrace that 24/7, you would not have that fear of not having the body. And a lot of people on this planet have that fear of not having the body. And it's not a negative, it's a positive, because it communicates to us that we aren't there yet. That because you embrace the God that you are, 100%. You have 100% trust, faith, and confidence in yourself and the universe. So there isn't any fear. There isn't any fear of not having the body. Okay? And that's a good thing. You can identify with it, and you realize that you're just not there yet. You've got to settle whatever it is through the ego mind that creates that fear for you. And this is a lot of the things throughout this life that this civilization is manipulated through fear. Isn't that interesting? It's manipulated through fear. Now, not the real, you know what I'm talking about, the real huge, heavy fears that we've all experienced, but little subtle fears here and there that keep us actually from progressing. It's like in this country, America, the United States of America, many of us have fear. We fear the quote-unquote government. We fear things. We fear money. We have a lot of fears. We're afraid of being happy, and we're afraid of being sad. We're afraid of dying. We're afraid of living. And that's all ego mind. And it is communicating to us to say, hey, wait, you have this fear of this because the ego mind is directing and guiding you. In heart-mindedness, that fear does not exist. It's not there. You don't experience it. And it gives you a difference between the two, between ego mind and heart mind. And you step away. When we say you leave the mind alone, that's exactly what you're doing. You leave the mind alone. It's there, okay? But you choose to go into heart-mindedness. Now, you know what the ego mind is. You've experienced it for many lifetimes. It isn't a secret. It's not hidden. And that's a good thing because we view it not from judgment, but from learning. So the ego mind teaches us how to master it. That's wild, but it's true. It teaches us how to master it because of how it's mastered us. It's not a negative that the ego mind is your master because it's basically how we've been programmed to embrace the ego mind as our master. Now, it's not like my master is the ego mind. It's not like that. It's more like it's what we accept as part of this life. And we really don't look at the ego mind as a entity, energy, or whatever. We don't even, kind of configure it in any true shape or form. But when we get upset and we have all these reactions and we protect ourselves, and that is all ego mind. So it tells us ego mind is my master. My direction and my decision is that I want to master the ego mind. So you master the ego mind by leaving it alone and being in these meditations. You've got to, the meditation helps you transition from ego mind to heart mind. And see, the ego mind, it doesn't like you to find out that you're beginning to unravel what its purpose is and what it's about. And you're beginning to reveal your heart-mindedness, which is the doorway to the God that you are. And you get a taste of it. You get a taste of solitude, quiet. It's like in the quiet time of this meditation. It's silent. You're not thinking. You're not focusing on anything. You're just being. And one might say, well, what about, manifesting? Well, you manifest during the quiet time. You send a detailed request out to the universe. And you let it go. You don't contemplate it. You don't fixate on it. Nothing. You just let it go. Now, if you were an ego mind, you would fixate on it. You would. You would fixate on it. You would have attachments eventually. You would have expectations. And then, usually in ego mind, it doesn't occur. And you're disappointed. And you suffer. Now, all of us are in the process of mastering the ego mind. Some are, it just depends where, what stage, where you're at with it. But to be able to talk about it like we do in the guided portion of this meditation is halfway there. See, because we're looking at it from a whole different perspective. We're learning about it because it has these abilities that are real tricky that can keep us in its fold. And while we're in its fold, we don't know we're in its fold. And see, it helps us with desires. And we need desires and wants because that motivates us. Okay? If we didn't have any desires or wants, what would it be like? It'd be, it'd probably be kind of cool in the beginning, but after a while, it would get real stale. And in material physical life, we've got to have these interactions, of experiencing things and enjoying things and having fun and interacting. And that's what this life really, truly is about. And along the way, we discover things. We choose to discover things. It's like, I've had people tell me that just out of a clear blue, they were sitting, really doing nothing, and then they started thinking about the God within them. They said, it'd be nice to really know the God that I am, because right now I don't know the God that I am. And then when they begin to go there, it is emotionally challenging because they don't know what they're going to find. Because, we have a tendency through lifetimes to stash things that we really don't care to engage or pay any attention to whatsoever. So we have the ability to reverse that and say, no, I'm gonna clean this all up. I want to look at things, embrace them, comprehend them, and move on. Instead of keeping them all boxed up or closeted up, lifetime after lifetime, I want a clean slate. I don't really care to have all this stuff, or baggage as some people call it. I want a clean slate. I want it to be free and clear. And this way, I have a more open path to the God that I am. And the motivation, one might ask, what the heck is the motivation? Right? Motivation is that you become aware that you are the God in that body, that you're the God in the soul, and that you're an omnipotently powerful being that never dies, and that your body has been arranged for you so that you can experience material physical life. That's what this is about. That's all it is. It isn't some big, huge discovery. It is so that we can experience material physical life, and that we've discovered, we've discovered that we are the God, and we embrace it. And we begin to master the ego mind, and we embrace that. And eventually the ego mind finds peace. So once we get everything in place, so to speak, then we realize that we enjoy the material physical life so much more because we know who and what we are and how powerful we are. So at will, just at random times, we send out a thought that then starts the process of manifesting whatever it is for us. Doesn't that make sense? Rather than being entrenched in ego mind lifetime after lifetime and worry, stressing, and fearing, having anxiety on all kinds of things, even things that you aren't even aware of. And this is what keeps everybody so stressed on this planet. We all get stressed. We have this stress factor and anxiety factors, and some are light at times, others pretty heavy. It just depends. And yes, it's experience. We experience that every lifetime. But it's like I've shared with everyone, it doesn't make sense to any of us to be in a repetitive cycle of doing this over and over and over again. Does that make any sense to you? It gets to the point where you ask that. You want to know what it is, okay, you're here to do. And everybody has that. Sooner or later, it rises up and it confronts you. What are you here to do? And people ask themselves, what am I doing here? What is all this about? Job, paying bills, this, that. Well, it's life, right? And then you get a lot of people say, well, it's got to be there's something got to be better than this. And then you respond by saying, well, then you've got to shift what your direction is and learn about how you can manifest the life that you want. And be in great gratitude for the life that you have, and then say, okay, so these are the things that I want to have in my life. You're the designer. Nobody else is. There isn't anything out there that's going to do it for you. You do it. That's an absolute fact. Now, many of us want it so that we can say, oh, there's this unknown force that does this all, say. And let's see. Okay, partially that's true. Partially. But the other part is what? It's you are the unknown force. You're the unknown force to you. You don't know that you're tremendously powerful, magnificent, stupendous, powerful, abundant, prosperous. All those things. Blissful, happy, joyous, peaceful. All these things are in you. They exist all the time. They don't drain or weaken or dissipate at all. And the whole time, we have been directed to look for that, all of that, out there. And then what does that do? Well, it gets us frustrated, and we get disappointed. We get stressed. We get angry. All those things. Now, those are wonderful things to experience for us. Not saying they aren't. But what happens when you experience something? Okay? You experience it, you learn. Right? Now, are you going to repeat that over and over again? Something that you've experienced, you've learned in this life, you're not going to keep going back and doing it over and over again because you've already learned it. So when you look at the life that we come into lives, and again, we have the amnesia, and then we do things and we experience things, and then eventually we leave the life. And every single time we leave the life, we say, wow, I didn't do a lot of the things that I was going to do, that I wanted to do when I first came into this body. Why is that? Because I got carried away with the ego mind, and I got so tied up with everything. I spent all this time doing this when all I wanted to do was this. And I kept telling myself I wanted to do this, but everything else took precedence, and I never really got around to it. How many of us say to ourselves every day, before we get out of bed, and you say, I'm going to enjoy my life today. I'm deeply grateful for this day. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for this day. Period. You know what that does? It puts you in the now. Immediately. You don't see, because most people that aren't aware, you all are aware, but you imagine the majority are not aware. And what happens is that they'll immediately start wandering around. They'll wander around. They'll into tomorrow. They're in the morning of that day, and they're already into tomorrow. And that goes on the whole day. So how can you enjoy the day when you are not even in the day and you're in tomorrow, or the next? Or you could be a week from now, into next week. And this is what a lot of people do. And they don't realize is that, hey, wait a minute, you're in the now. That's all you have. Focus on the now. Focus your energies on the now, not the energies into yesterday or tomorrow. Period. It's like if things come up, unless you go and you go into the past and you reflect on some things, right? But not the way. The other way is that you're absolutely sucked into the past. And you're sitting there going, this stuff's all dead and gone. What am I doing here? You say that to yourself, this is dead and gone. This doesn't exist. I don't care to be here. And it's the same with future. It's the same with tomorrow. Most of us are in tomorrow when we wake up the morning of the now. When you go to bed at night, do you ever look at the ceiling? You stare at the ceiling? Do you have amnesia? Not amnesia, but insomnia? It's hard for you to get to sleep. You're kind of restless, irritable, and that doesn't include if you've got some severe pains or issues going on with your body. And then we worry about our bodies, and then that adds more stress. Did you know that the American people, just in our country, are by far the most sleep-deprived people on the planet? Now, if you remember, you go back, you might have heard about it in Japan in the 90s. The business executives and people working jobs were so burned out after they left work that they would sit on commuter trains for hours and not know that they were sitting there for hours. They were like zombies. They were so drained, so exhausted from working that job. It was burnout. A lot of Japanese businessmen and women were burned out. This is how much effort they put into the job, and it had a huge effect on them. And it affected the Japanese economy. It affected their product runs and everything. Now, here in this country, we have created generations of young ones who do not have the parameters or structure to even want to work. Now, every generation has that. Okay? Every generation comes up with so many that don't care to do anything laborious. But see, it's progressed to the point where many, not just a few, but many don't have the work ethic or acumen. They didn't have parents that worked with authority. So they had no role models. This is why they are where they're at right today. And you can say, in your generation, what you looked at somebody and you admired them because of their work ethic, what they did. They had respect for it, they embraced it, and they did a good job. And this is where you learn because you watched that and you experienced that, and then you became that. It's like anything. We're always creating what we don't want. That's a fact. You hear me talk about that a lot, but it's very important because manifesting is everything. It's your emotions. It's your happiness or your sadness. It's everything. It's your relationships. It's material and non-material. It's animate and inanimate. It's everything. Manifesting is everything. It's not just manifesting money or wealth. The wealth has many different facets. It's just not money. Money's wonderful, fantastic, stupendous, marvelous. But you remember, you got to have the balance. The balance has got to be there. What's the balance? The balance is embracing many different things. Because your desire is to do what? All of our desire is to be happy. Genuinely happy. Not false or put on, a mask and act like, when underneath you're miserable. But just to be genuinely happy for no reason whatsoever. Right? And what's another one that we all really want? And this is connected to ego mind. We want to be secure. Isn't it true? You ask yourself, when you're with yourself, you want to be secure. You want to be safe with yourself. Those things are all ego mind. Because you're already secure. Beyond measure. And it's ironic that we feel that we've got to do something out there in order to have the life that we want, when all along we do it within and we create the life that we want. It's just completely the opposite. We've been taught the opposite of what we truly are. We are manifesting machines. We are creators of all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever, beyond, and forever. It never ends. Yet you come across people that are down in the mouth with themselves, and depressed, and complaining, and worried, and stressful, and because they allow themselves through the ego mind to be pulled into the drama that's happening on this planet. They don't know it. It's not necessarily a negative thing, but that's what happens, and then people get upset. They don't realize it. Get upset and stressful and this and that and everything. When we go within, all this stuff that we witness, this play, this stage, this Broadway show, shifts, it changes. That's our power. We've created everything. We've created everything that's happening right now in this country alone. Generation after generation of us being in bodies, not knowing who and what we are, and focused on what we do not want. Makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? All this unrest and all this, childish game playing that goes on, and how we get sucked into it. And we get upset, we get irritated, we get stressed out. Why would we burn that energy on that? Does it make any sense? I don't think so. I think if we all just kind of sat and contemplated why would I burn my energy up on that? Why wouldn't I focus my energies on internally and discovering who and what I am, and then learning and embracing the power that I am, and practicing staying in the now, in the heart-mind, focusing on managing and mastering my ego mind and my thoughts. That's energy. See, that's that same energy you're taking and focusing on things that you do not want. People will say they do not want to not have enough money to pay their bills. And they worry and stress and fear about it all the time. Right? I know, I did. I did all the time. And then it just dawned on me, why in the heck am I spending all this energy on stuff that I don't really care to have in my life? And it boils down to, this is what happens. Most of us do not have the deep, genuine confidence, faith, and trust in ourselves that we need in order to master the ego mind, stay in heart-mindedness, master our thoughts, and realize that we are omnipotently powerful, supreme manifesting abundant beings that never die. And while we're in these bodies, the body is a conduit for us to manifest anything material, physical. And we can do it. Every single one of us has that power. None of us are more powerful than the other. It's just not the way. Well, we see that and we're taught that. Oh, they're more powerful than over here. And in truthfulness, we're all just as powerful as each other. Because we're all God. There's no bettering one another. There's no, look at me. Pay attention to me. I'm special, you're not. I have a lot of money, you don't. See, that's all ego mind. And the reason that you hear me press so much on ego mind and heart-mindedness, because this is the spiritual evolution of this civilization. We're going to learn it. Now, you may learn it in another 5 lifetimes. Who knows? By us talking about it on these meditations means that you're halfway there. Absolutely. Means when we bring up these subjects of heart-mindedness, ego-mind, emotion, manifesting, what we want, what we don't want, we're identifying it all. We're embracing it. We're acknowledging it. We're not ignoring it. And so what does it do? Our attention focuses on it. We become more aware. So how do you know that you haven't? Maybe you have, where you find yourself slipping into ego mind, and you say to yourself, okay, I know what's going on here. It's not a big deal. I'm just going to focus on the now, which will bring you into heart-mindedness. So you shift gears. You can shift gears like that. Easy. And so when you find yourself getting caught up because you've been there before more than once, you shift gears to say, no, I don't care to do that. No, I'm not interested in that. You know why? Because you've done it so many times before. There are times you said to yourself that you're not going to get upset this time. Have you ever said that to yourself? Before I've gotten upset, I'm not going to do it this time. And what happens? You do it again. You get upset. But acknowledging it is phenomenal. Because, eventually it'll happen. You just won't get upset. And it's not suppressing your feelings at all. It's embracing who and what you are. And it's you saying to yourself, why would I want, does this serve me the greater good? Is there a message? What's the message here for me? And if there is a message, then you take the message, embrace the message, and move on. But you don't sit there with it. Have you ever done things like you constantly talk about something, you won't let it go, and you keep talking about it, something's happened, and you keep talking about it, and then you might be around somebody that says, hey, it's really not necessary to keep talking about it. It's already happened, it's done, boom, boom, boom. And this is what's great about us as a people, because there's always something, a message that comes in when we need it the most, that we aren't thinking about, that we aren't feeling, but somebody brings it in. Something happens, something takes place and brings it in. And then you just say, thank you, thank you, thank you. Now this makes sense to me. We could change this planet in 24 hours if miraculously we all ended up in the now and embraced heart-mindedness. It would change the planet overnight. It would change the frequencies and energies that people emit because they're caught up and they're confused. They are confused because they don't know who and what they are. Yeah, they're human. They're human beings. Yeah, that's true. While we're in these bodies, we're human beings. But we're also gods. That's the missing link. Religions will say, and some religions will say, that's blasphemy, sacrilege. God is up there, out there, not in you. But all in all, isn't it fun? Really, we didn't come here to not have fun. We came here to have fun. Really, truly did. And when you're a kid, do you have fun? Did you have fun? Sure you did. Sure you had fun. That's all it was. As a kid, what did we do? What did we want to do as children? Play. That's all we wanted to do was play. Oh, yeah, but, all children do that, and then they grow up, and then they become adults, and then we don't have time to play. But, that's not true, because adults play all the time, but they call it something different. They call it entertainment. They don't call it playtime, they call it entertainment. That sounds more adult anyway, doesn't it? They want to be entertained. So they go here and they go there and they get entertained. But when we're kids, we have fun, that's it. And we do simple things. It's not complicated. We just have fun. Go outdoors, fresh air, bike riding and getting with your friends and going down to neighbors that has a pool and go swimming. It's crazy, just stuff. I remember all of it when I was growing up as a child. I had an absolute ball. And I remember that, and I bring it into the present moment. That feeling of having fun and enjoying yourself. Experiencing things that you want to experience. When was the last time, really, truly, that you had fun? I'll join you in meditation. I'll return to close us out. Take an easy and slow breath in through the nose. And an easy and slow breath out from the mouth. Remain relaxed into your body. Still focused on your breath rising and falling. Do not let the mind get attached to what meditating should feel like, look like, or be like. Let go of all shoulds and simply be here now. This day is as it should be, just as your thoughts and feelings are as they should be right now. However, the more you can accept what's happening to you right now, the better your experience of this moment will be. Take this with you for the rest of the day, into the evening and night, and the following morning. We will return here Sunday, June 8, 2025, after 3:15 p.m. Eastern, to continue our global guided meditation call. Be gentle, kind, generous, and humble with yourself at all times, no matter what's happening within you or outside of you. Be in the highest of the highest high, deepest of the deepest deepest, purest of the purest purest, eternal gratitude at all times. Open your heart and allow the magic to flow in.